Memorial Day. Today's going to be
Hello.
a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous episode because we're going to be talking to Donna Ray, who is a veteran. We're going to be talking to her about PTSD, and Donna Ray contracts with malaria. So as soon as she gets on here, I'm just getting this all lined up so we can jump on. I want to jump on there. Instagram. So I hope everyone is feeling super duper amazing. Yo, Chanel.
Good morning. What's going on?
I'm feeling super duper amazing. We have the amazing LaDonna Ray, which is going to be on today.
Excited.
Very exciting. Super excited. How you feel?
I'm good. Refreshed, rejuvenated. Guacamole for breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's like nutritional, but it works.
Guacamole for breakfast. That works.
Guacamole for breakfast.
It's all good. So today is going to be amazing because we're going to interview LaDonna Ray, and LaDonna Ray contracted COVID, which she's bringing some just a super different perspective because like that's a huge deal, and she's mentioning like a lot of people aren't taking COVID serious. I really implore people that are out there that are partying and doing things this weekend to be safe, social distance, wear your mask. I got my mask. I'm rocking my mask. I mean, I'm a social person, so I've not been out. Hey, Chanel, have you been social distancing properly?
I have, with the exception of my intermediate family. I go to my mom's house just about every day, but yeah, I haven't seen anyone outside of my family. So,
are you sure? Weren't you one of those parties that they had over? I think I
that's
saw
a
you on the
lie.
news.
I don't even go to parties on a regular day. So I'm not a party person. I'm really a homebody. So you would definitely have not caught me at one of those.
I'm joking, but no social. But anyway, LaDonna Ray is going to jump on here and she's going to talk to us about her contracting malaria. I'm sorry, COVID. But then also too, she's amazing. She's a mom of 4. She's fabulous marketing consultant. I've known her for over 5 years. She helps me out with marketing. She's actually one of the people that I went to and asked questions about when I started to want to do the podcast. So she's amazing in that regards. But then we want to talk about the veterans because we're talking about all the just different things that are happening with COVID, but then we're not really talking about the veteran plight, which still remains a huge issue because every day, at least 3 to 5 veterans are taking their life, committing suicide, and how that relates to Wolfkeeper University. We train dogs for veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, but that's really tough, where social distancing and stay at home is different for everybody because with the vets, we're encouraging them to go out. And that's the reason why we encourage them to get a dog, so they will go out and socialize and stay alive. And I know people, Alicia Moore Jennings, my high school sweetheart, she took her life in 2015. And that was super, super traumatic for me because I know when she was getting to that point, just now I reflect later in conversations that was leading to that. A lot of it is, when you get to that point of PTSD, it's isolation that people start going through. So I just want everyone to be super mindful on this day of memorial that our veterans out there shelter and stay is different for them because we want them to get out and be social, and that's part of what like helps them stay alive. And now to stay safe, we're asking people to stay home, but that it's different for everybody. Denise just mentioned, said, "Oh my God, my high school sweetheart took his life in 2016. Man, heart,
Oh
heart, heart."
wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we, what I don't want is for us to look back at this and then say, I don't want this to be 2021, and then summer 2021, and we're like, oh my God, no one paid attention to the veterans and how the suicide rate completely spiked and went over the top. So we want to be aware of that. And two, we also, that's where dogs are just so super duper amazing because dogs can offer therapy for people by being therapy dogs. It can offer therapy by being emotional support for people, or they can be service dogs, one of the three. So, and they're not cheap. I mean, those dogs cost, a therapy dog to train properly is about $6,000. An emotional support dog to have right where they should be, because in emotional support, your doctor has to sign off on. You're talking about between 6 and 10,000, and a service dog can be anywhere from 20 to 24,000, if not more. So that's the challenge with providing dogs for everyone, because the VA hospital will only supply 100 dogs for the entire country. Did you know that? Isn't that amazing? That hurts my heart when I think about that. So that said, support your veterans. You can call us and talk to us about getting a veteran or someone that is a veteran a service dog. I see PD is on here. We worked with her as far as her getting a service dog. See, my aunt is on here live. Her father, my grandfather, was super military. He served in the Navy. He served in the National Guard. He was a Chicago police officer. And my other grandfather, William Buford, my first grandfather, Edwin Williams, he served in multiple branches in CPD. And my grandfather, William Buford, served also in the Army and was a county sheriff. And then my father, Thomas Sanzoni, also served in the military and the Army. So I come from a family of military. My cousin and friend Ron is military. He served in Iraq and in the Army. So shout out to everyone. Welcome home. Much love. Chanel, do you have any family members that were in the military?
My uncles, I have. He passed away though. My uncle. I do have other uncles that are that were in the military. I really feel like veterans should be like celebrity status. I think they should be held on a different pedestal. And they should have more advantages, more perks, more everything. They should definitely be saluted. There's so many homeless veterans, and it just saddens me. It's like they've done so much that they get so little that doesn't really make sense to me. This world is designed not in the best way. But salute to all of the
Yeah,
veterans. Your work, your contribution to the world is not unnoticed. Um, yeah.
absolutely. No, salute to all the veterans out there, because freedom is not free at all. The highest cost, and that cost is your life. And a lot of people don't realize too. A lot can go wrong even in boot camp. You don't have to go be a combat veteran. To develop PTSD, and PTSD is real. I'm concerned about reentry shock for people when they go back to work after this, whatever this new normal means. But that's
Hello,
where,
Don
once
Doty.
again, the dogs are amazing.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there we go. Wait, I just saw her. Then Oh, there she go.
She's
Okay.
in here. LaDonna, hello.
LaDonna.
Hey, how you doing? Good
Yay, finally
morning.
got you in.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a little technically challenged, but I'm really not. So, hey, good morning.
The way of the new world, right?
Yes, it is the new normal.
Good to have you. Good to have
That's
you.
weird. I can't hear her.
Say that
Can you
again?
hear her?
I can hear her. Can you?
LaDonna.
Yes, I'm here.
He can't
Uh-oh.
hear you.
Hey, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
We're doing great. You know, I was telling everyone about you. You, LaDonna Ray. Aside from one of my favorite cousins in New Orleans is Donna Ray. So that's why
Uh-oh.
whenever I say your name, I think of Donna Ray.
Uh-oh.
Donna Ray Williams. I mean Donna Ray Robinson down in New Orleans. So LaDonna Ray
You
here in
gotta be kidding me.
Chicago,
You're
marketing.
kidding me.
Yeah.
That's my
No,
last
Donna
that's
Ray.
my name. I'm
Donna,
LaDonna Ray Robinson.
no way.
Yes, way.
You know what? I just know you as your moniker of LaDonna Ray, like
Yeah,
Prince. Like you only
that's
have
all I
one
go
name.
by.
So I never knew you were you're a Robinson.
Yep.
Oh, we might be related.
No.
No, the world is so
Um,
small. It is, wouldn't be surprising.
Yes,
so
you're
I would
absolutely
give you
right.
props. Donna Ray, you're so amazing. I mean, I've been knowing you for the last 5 years. Actually, I met you because you interviewed me,
Hmm.
or you helped me with my book, my dog training audio book. And then you're just always so professional, just always so on point. You're a marketing guru. You actually were one of the people that helped encourage me with doing a podcast. You helped me with my grandpa moments where I'm like, how do I do these damn podcasts? How do I? So you help with that. You're a mom of four. You have adults. You mean you're a beast. You're amazing. I mean, and then
Wow,
today I
thank
want to
you.
talk to you. I want to talk to you about a lot of stuff, but we're going to talk about COVID. We're going to talk about veterans, but just tell everyone something about you that I missed.
Say that last part one more time.
I said just share with our listeners something about you that I might have missed.
Oh my goodness. I want to hire you to do my PR. You said it all. I mean, I started off in so many ways wanting to get into the entertainment industry. I wanted to be in radio, television, modeling, you name it. And I ended up working behind the scenes instead. And I started off in radio, and a very key set of information and education that I got was from working in radio. But my background is actually in IT, and you put those two together, and I'm able to kind of engineer marketing strategies for my clients. I went on to take up marketing, obviously, and I'm actually media communication certified. But there's uh, there's so many people that I wanted to help. I saw an opportunity for them to get to the next level, and naturally I would come up with these ideas and just give them to them. But people they have so many talents, and they may be busy living life, or should I say surviving, instead of
Yes.
living.
Yes.
So I like to reach out and say, you know what, I see what you're doing, and you ask me these questions. Let's try to tweak it in this direction. And what do you think about this? And the collaboration, it's so easy to grab onto someone else and become like a team. And that's why
Hmm.
so many people want to fix other people. I shouldn't say fix, but want to help other people, because it's easier to work with them as a team versus working on yourself. Now,
Hmm.
that brings me back to
Right.
this pandemic. A lot of people were forced to do what? Work on themselves,
On
because
themselves, yes.
so
And
that whether that's
so
marketing.
many people are missing that. So many people are
Hmm.
missing and focusing on the negative. But yes, I agree.
Yes, absolutely. So that's everything in a nutshell. I mean, I've been on television shows, I've been in movies, I've done all of those things, and now it's time to. People don't know about it because I never talk about what I've done. I always talk
Mhm.
about what my client did. So
Mhm.
it's time to, pour that energy that I've poured into many into my organization
Mhm.
and help more people. I can do it more better that way.
Mhm. You have some real shine. What movies were you in?
Say that again.
I said you have a real spotlight. What movies were you in?
I was in one movie. I was in Roll Bounce, and
Mm.
yeah, Roll Bounce came to
And
Chicago.
they've
I
been
was
playing that
filming.
movie on BT like every
Yeah,
day.
yeah. So I didn't get a credited role. I was an extra, but I was a special extra. So it was a very really a real good experience on set for me because I was
Okay.
always behind the scenes on set. This time I was part of the set, and I saw a lot of politics. I saw a lot of things that I could take with me to help my clients and consult them in marketing because it's all about
Mhm.
marketing. Roll Bounce was an underrated movie. It didn't get the marketing it deserved.
It was a good
It had,
movie though.
yeah, it
Mhm.
was, and it was well written. It was well produced,
Mhm.
well directed. Malcolm Lee was the bomb, and
Mhm.
it did not get the pub that it should have gotten. So I learned from that. I'm like, wait a minute, why are they waiting? 4 weeks. It was like 4 to 6 weeks to promote. These other movies, you know about them coming up next summer. It's like,
Right.
dang,
Right.
but it's still winter. So
Right.
but yeah, they,
Right.
they just didn't have the advertising that went into this particular project, and I know they could have done much better had they done so.
Mhm.
And for people that don't, I mean, people are always sometimes hesitant to get a consultant, because they think a lot of money, they don't want to spend the money, or why do I need a consultant? But I implore, especially women, to reach out to LaDonna Ray Robinson. Follow her on Facebook, LaDonna Ray, and have a conversation with her because she definitely can help give you direction on how to navigate and pivot during this pandemic. She's one of the few people that I know personally that has been completely independent, working for herself, 100%. Um, and just one of my heroes and inspirations. But Donna, was Don? Did you invite your guests to join us too? Did
I
you?
did, and it
Did
looks
someone
like
else
he's on
download?
here. It says Don Doty. He said he needs a headset. Caller Don is live. Okay, I think he's
Oh,
on.
so it
Hello?
is
Hey Don, are you
Don.
there?
Hello, I'm here.
Hey Don.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Hello, Don.
Hey
Welcome.
Don.
Hey, welcome. Yeah, I had a hard time, not very astute on technology, so it took me a while to get this all set up.
I think after this, we're going to
Well,
be
you're here.
masters of technology.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'd like to kick in whenever I can about my episode and being a veteran and how I'm already trying to reach the homeless veterans and what I'm doing here in Chicago. So go ahead and let me know when I can talk. Go ahead.
All right, yeah, we're gonna get you, Don, and talk about the homeless situation with vets, which is huge because we love vets. Here at Wolfkeeper University, we're training service dogs for veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. So that's why this episode is centered around vets and how pets help vets. But then we have to talk about COVID, which we've been talking about on all these episodes. And um, wow, LaDonna, I want to share with you because you are a survivor of COVID. I mean, you
Hmm.
contracted this evil virus, which I was super stressed out. I was reading all your Facebook posts and sending prayers to you when you contracted COVID. But can you talk about and share your experience with going through that hell?
Oh God, it was going through hell twice because like you said, on the media put shined a negative light on COVID. It's like you saw a storm on its way to your
Hmm.
house, and as the numbers went up, you're like, okay,
Mm,
I still have to make a living because the client that I was working with was an essential client. So we still had to go into the treatment center and even though we did everything we could to protect ourselves, I ended up getting the virus. Now, I could have gotten it from Walmart now that I think about it. But either or, I still got it. I got it on April 10th. And the reason why I say that is that was the last time I was out
wow,
of the
you know
house.
the actual date.
Yeah, because I
Wow.
remember what happened. We had pizza night that night. I had some wine welcoming my son's new girlfriend into the family. And the next day I woke up with what I thought was a hangover, but it wasn't normal for me. I don't get hangovers because I don't drink that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took an ibuprofen, probably shouldn't have done that, but that was all I had. And headache went away. We dyed Easter eggs. And the next morning I couldn't get out of bed.
Oh
And
wow.
that went on for 2 weeks. But what you don't know is that, or what you may have read or heard on my lives, is that I went to the hospital that Tuesday and I tested for COVID and it came up negative. And when it came up negative, I had a false positive, a false sense of positivity. I came back, dancing in the hallway like I don't have COVID. This is just the flu, But that test was wrong because my breathing got worse and worse as the days went on. And thanks to my best friend, I ended up going to the emergency room in an Uber, and they found out I had COVID and I had pneumonia as a result of it.
Oh wow.
So my health was deteriorating, and I didn't even know it. But my son thought I was going to die. He's 28 years old, and if it wasn't for him and his wife, I wouldn't be here because they literally fed me, took care of me. I was in spaces of delirium, where I just didn't have the will to do anything. That stuff messes with your neurological system. And even to this day, there are words that I can't think of off the bat. I know this is a result because I wasn't like that before. But, God is good,
God
and
is good.
that's why I'm still here. But I also started reaching out to
all the
other
time.
people as I saw them saying that they had COVID, they're in the hospital, they're at home recovering. I reached out to them. I said, you can make it through this because if you watch the news, you think that it's a death sentence. It's not a death sentence. You got to amp it up,
It's
and in your
mental.
mind, you have to really get your mental state together to say, I'm going to make it through this thing.
How long were you in the
So let me.
hospital?
Well, lucky for me, when I went to the emergency room, lucky or unlucky, I don't know, but I went to the emergency room and they took me back to the back finally. They asked me if I wanted to be hospitalized. I find that to be very unusual. Why would a hospital ask you if you want to be hospitalized? Of course, my
Right.
natural sense, I don't want to be, but should I be? That was my response. Should I be? Do you see something? Are you sending me home to die? Or are you keeping me
Right.
here and this is necessary? So I told them, I said, well, why would I need to stay? Explain this to me. And they said, well, normally if your oxygen levels are less than 90%, then we would keep you here and put you on oxygen. I said, okay, well, my oxygen levels are where? And they said, well, 95, 97. I said, okay, that's a good thing. So what would I be staying here to do? Because at the same time, I knew someone that was on a ventilator, at the same time. So what am I supposed to do? I'm coming to you for advice. You're asking me what I want to do. This is not a country club. This is not,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Am I dying or not? So I chose to go home. I got in the Uber. Funny story. I got in the Uber with a mask on, and the driver said, "So, what were you doing at the hospital?" I said, "Oh, had to be seen. I got because I had asthma too. So we didn't know if
Okay.
my asthma was bothering me." And he said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Yeah, asthma." He said, "Oh, okay." He just kept talking, and I'm sitting back there like he has no idea I have COVID. And I just don't feel like
Right.
telling them. He might put me out. So I just kept my mask
Mm-hmm.
on and kept my mouth closed and kept it moving. But sorry, Raul. So anyway, I got back. I got back home, and literally, I told my family I have to be isolated. I have to remain isolated, and this is what we have to do. I kept my kids, my little kids. I have small children. They usually go to dad's house. I didn't want to be. They had been exposed to me. I didn't want them to get him sick. So I
Yeah.
said, you know what? Just stay here. We're gonna shelter in place, and it felt like shelter. I felt like a ghost. I couldn't come out and interact. I couldn't do
Yeah.
anything. So I am a survivor.
Thank
I
God.
am a COVID-19 survivor. Yes.
So
Thank
that's
God.
pretty scary. So you just so people that are just signing on, thank you everyone. Michael in Spain, he's giving a lot of info because they're dealing with that in Mallorca. PD, who's a vet. Allison, thank you for joining on. Jamie, everyone that's boy Kelly Ross down there in Atlanta. James, Nia Lola. What we're talking about today is we're talking to the amazing marketing consultant LaDonna Ray Robinson, and we're talking about her experience with COVID because she contracted COVID. You were explaining about how you had a false negative initially. You knew something was wrong. You went to the hospital. It came back negative. Thought you were all good, and then you still weren't feeling well. So then you went back to the hospital again, and it came back positive. And that's when they said you do have COVID. How did you feel? What was going through your mind when you found out? Like you got a negative, and you were happy that you found out you actually got it, because that's what I'm telling people why you should shelter in place and be safe, because no one wants to find out they got COVID. It's not a death sentence. We know that you can well, we hope everyone can survive it, but no one wants to have to tell someone or be isolated for real in quarantine. How did you feel when you found out that you had it for sure?
I cried instantly because I had just hugged my children on the way out. I felt like I may have exposed them. I thought about, my friend being on a ventilator. I thought, a lot of bad thoughts went through my mind, but I also thought about beating spinal meningitis when I was 12. So if I can beat that, and we won't get into that, that's a whole nother show. If I can beat that, then COVID ain't got nothing on me. So
Okay.
I dusted myself off and I said, send me home. I'm not going to curse on this show. I said, send me home. I'm going home to be with my family since I don't need to be here. And that's how I felt. I felt like I had something to live for. And this is not it for me.
But I wonder if they're giving other patients that option. Like, do you want to stay home or do you want to stay here?
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
What hospital were you at? What hospital is this?
I was at Rush University. I love Rush University. I'm still going to go back there. But you got to remember, we were dealing with an animal that no one knew what to do with. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'd be a little afraid if somebody thought they had all the answers, because no one knew. The scientists, the doctors, no one. So to say, they didn't even have enough PPP. The mask, I've never seen an emergency room that looked like this. They whisk you off to a parking lot with a tent over it to keep you isolated from the inside of the hospital. And then once you pass and clear that, they take you through another, almost like a tunnel. I mean, I felt like Harriet Tubman for one moment. But you're very isolated. You're almost imprisoned, and people treat you like you got COVID, because even when I left there, I had to get a prescription. I got in my own car, went to CVS to get my prescription filled for the Z-Pack that they gave me. And because my prescription got mangled in the chute that you send it to, I had to walk inside and show them my discharge papers. Well, what did I do that for? At first, they were like, hi, welcome to CVS Pharmacy. How can I help you? And when they saw those discharge papers, they were like, this was confirmed for you. They said, you got COVID? She said, well, ma'am, you're going to have to go wait in your car. In fact, we'll call you. What's your number? And I had to yell it because she kept getting further and further and further away from me.
Wow.
I'm so serious. And I yelled my number, and she got it, and they called me within 5 minutes because they didn't even want me in the parking lot.
So LaDonna Ray, I want to bring this back to, because thank you for being so brave and sharing your story of contracting COVID. And I know that was really rough for you to be isolated away from your family and friends, and you're a super social person. So I know that had to be rough, but then that's why I wanted to highlight the fact that what's your feelings, and I want to bring Don in too, as far as the veterans that are out there right now that have to be isolated, or the veterans that are contracting COVID and the things they're going through, because it's definitely is its own war in itself, and that we're fighting every day, this invisible enemy. So what's your thoughts on veterans dealing with COVID, dealing with social distancing, and all of the above?
Are you addressing this to me?
Yes, Don.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm turning this TV down. Right now, I agree that right now the coronavirus has affected a lot of veterans, mostly the ones with the PTSD, but most of the ones that are at the VA hospital that have a weak immune system. I run an organization, and if you can write this down real quick, you could kind of see visually what I'm doing with the homeless veterans and not just talking about it. It's at Don Doty, Facebook on Don Doty. That'll give you a visual of all the homeless people that I'm reaching out to and the things that we've been doing for some time. And with
Okay.
LaDonna's support, we've been able to set up and structure our program and a staff that really are first responders on the ground because we reach the folks that are underserved, people that don't want to look at, people that are homeless, people that are on the streets, people that are under the bridges. I'm
Mm-hmm.
from California. I was brought to Chicago. I was invited to Chicago by a former mayor to deal with the hepatitis epidemic that they were having. And if once you go to my website, you can see what we've done to the inmates within IDOC, within the penitentiary, within the detention centers, in reducing hepatitis. Then they've asked me then to and I was about to retire at my age, and I have 100% disability. So they asked me to deal with the coronavirus. And now what you'll witness on my Facebook page uh, is okay. There's two Don Doties when you go there, a white guy and a black guy. I'm the black guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm on here now.
okay, yeah, and you can kind of see visually what I do.
Mm-hmm.
My website is www.georgia, like the state of Georgia, Doty Doty health.org. So it's georgiadotyhealth.org. And then you can see the thousands of other folks that I've reached since I've been here in Chicago. I operated a school, a trade school for nurses and health professionals who are now first ground responders dealing with this virus with the various people that I've taught. And I've trained thousands of folks in the city of Chicago at the school that I operated on Holman and Arthington on the west side called Center for Employment Training. So I'm dedicated to providing services in reaching the underserved populations, the ones that are mostly at risk, which is the minority, the Latino, the black, the seniors. The, those are the folks that are the most at risk. And so I'd like to have you guys look at what I do. I'd like for you guys to work with LaDonna on our program because I think my program will give you guys a greater platform in doing what needs to be done. We're setting up an office in Atlanta, LA, and Vegas now. We're having chapters set up there because of the popularity and the support that we've gotten from the governors, the last three governors of the state of Illinois. And the proclamations are great, but the funding and the funding is more vital in terms of us continuing what we're doing. So I'm glad she invited me to your conference call. It took me a while to learn how to do it.
So
And
Don, how can people help? If someone wants to help out with a vet today, how can they help?
well, and through our organization itself would be the first priority in joining our committee. We're looking for more veterans to join our committee so that we can reach a lot more veterans than we're doing now. And by financially supporting our program and making donations to our organization and agency.
Okay.
Amazing work.
And
Amazing work.
and you know, if I could just chime in, Don just brought me on to his team. So we're a new marriage, if you will. And when it comes to the Georgia Doty Foundation or organization, I'm sorry, I'm saying foundation. When it comes to the Georgia Doty organization, they have done quite a bit when it comes to the veterans, and not just veterans, but other people have also benefited from the organization. Along with that, they're working on. I know with COVID, they had some events set up, and of course, they all had to be canceled. But they've got some creative strategies that they're still able to give back and work with these veterans during COVID. I don't know if most people don't realize that when you have a stay at home order going on, anything that's going on at home is heightened. So if you have PTSD at home already, and now you have to stay in the house, your PTSD does not become a sub news topic. It is still your main topic when the news is only talking about coronavirus. If you're at home with domestic violence, that becomes heightened because now you can't go anywhere. And the news is only talking about coronavirus. It's not talking about your domestic violence. So whatever you're dealing with, stay at home. How can you stay at home when you don't have a home? If you're homeless, you know, and you've served this country that we live in. So, you know, how can you help a veteran? It's very simple. Anytime you hear the word veteran or Georgia Doty, HIV and hepatitis outreach, know that you're helping a veteran by helping the organization. I hope I don't sound like a commercial, but I'm really passionate about this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Don, I'm looking at your page now. For all our listeners and viewers, you can go to Don Doty. That's Doty on his Facebook page. Because your first post, you're listing.
Make sure they get the right Doty.
I think it's better to
yours
go
is the first one
to the website and then on Facebook you have Georgia Doty on the Facebook as well. But you know, just to get the donations to the organization, because I know that Don, you're posting on your personal page as well, correct? You're still doing that? Yeah. So it's going across all platforms.
And I just, you know, the thing that, thank you, Don, for all your work that you're doing. And just, you know, the thing like right now that we're talking about, and we've been talking about a lot at Wolfkeeper, because our engagement with the veterans, that retraining service dogs for veterans suffering from PTSD or anyone, you don't have to be a veteran in war. Secondary PTSD is real. People that are family members of vets, they're also serving, you know, and our first responders are also two veterans. I mean, that will be experiencing PTSD from this super terrible disease virus that's happening. So be there for whoever is definitely that's on the first responder team that have to deal with this every day, such people like my Aunt Tawana, who is in the NIC unit out there at Northwestern, and all my friends that are nurses around the world. Xander Habrowski, my friend who's a nurse, and police officers, the people that have to go to work today and be around people that have COVID. We have to keep them in mind, and then we also too really have to, as a community, come together with game plans for, you know, increased shock, which is going to be real, and helping people heal while this is going on. You know, which on our side we're doing it with the dogs. Donna, you know, what are you guys doing? You know, I know that you are working with Don Dottie, but just reiterate for people that just jumped in on this podcast as far as how they can directly help impact veterans that are going through this right now with COVID.
Oh my God. You know, everybody rushed the shelves to buy face masks and hand sanitizer, face shields, goggles. All of these items are still needed at the Georgia Doty organization to be distributed to the veterans so that they can remain safe. One box is not enough because they're disposable. Um, and the more that we have coming in, the more that we can distribute to veterans and trying to keep them safe when it comes to not just COVID, but the flu or whatever else, whatever other pandemic is coming our way. It's coming. You know, mayhem will happen. We need to not forget about our veterans, period, because of them, we're able to have a safe country. So we want to definitely be able to funnel our support through an entity like the Georgia Doty organization so that they can give and distribute to the veterans that we love so much. And we have a GoFundMe page up. It's actually on GoFundMe. I was totally against it, but Don insisted, and then I realized in the passion in his voice that this was very much needed and necessary. And it gives people an opportunity to kind of read our story and see what we're trying to do and see why the veterans need so much assistance, and
Mhm.
how we're specifically giving it directly to them. It's not to line our pockets. It's to help the veterans. So that is a GoFundMe. You can search for, again, Georgia Doty.
And then also, can I say a few words?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to also ask you to place an article talking about what we're talking about right now in our quarterly national newsletter that's reaching 10,000 veterans. And I think that LaDonna can share with you the previous advertisements or previous newsletters that we've had and that we're trying to publish the one coming out now. On the front cover of this one is a lady named Nellie Vasquez. She's
Yeah.
the co-founder of an organization called A Safe Haven on the
Yes.
west, it's on the west side of Chicago,
Yeah.
and they deal with sheltering a lot of veterans. So we are partnering in reaching out to that population. I think that if you could place an article and kind of what's the word, summarize what we're talking about today, the veterans, the PTSD, the domestic violence, some of the issues that, because I have PTSD. And the only thing that helps me therapeutically is working on the organization. When I can focus
Mhm.
my life on other people, when I can focus on other people, it takes my mind off of my own health. And in my Facebook page, you'll see that 3 days ago, I was hospitalized, but I was hospitalized for stress, for kidney disease, and for dehydration. But when I came out, I was blessed that I didn't get the virus. Because just going into an emergency room, period, puts you at risk because you don't know what infections and what folks around in the emergency room you might be
Mhm.
exposed to. So I'd like for you to look at the previous articles that LaDonna can share and see if you can summarize our conversation today into our newsletter and share it with our veterans.
Absolutely. No, we definitely will be more than happy to, place an ad in there. Thank you for all the work you've done. Um, just a comment from our Facebook post. Jamie said that PTSD will be present in many forms. My grandfather recently died in the ER. Pneumonia, collapsed airway, diabetic. He did not have COVID, but because of COVID, he was isolated and all alone until his last moment of life. That's when they allowed my gram to be with him to say goodbye. My family is shaken with no sense of closure, to be forced to sit at home in mourning with the thoughts of how the greatest man died alone is mentally anguishing. We didn't get to say goodbye, hold his hand, stroke his head, or say I love you one last time. This will certainly have a lasting effect on all of us in various ways. And thank you, Jamie, for sharing that because that's the other thing too. People realize life is. LaDonna, you and I talked about this earlier this morning before we jumped on. That I mean, everyone is dealing with this differently, and people still have to go to the hospital for other reasons, and you can't. No one's. You don't even want to be around a hospital right now. So, with Jamie
Yeah.
hearing her grandfather going to the hospital for one thing, but then being isolated where your family members can't say goodbye to your loved one. Like I know my grandfather actually, he died at Rush University and we were all around his bed, holding his hand, everything that Jamie just described. So right now, you can't be with a loved one, waiting in the lobbies, you know,
Mhm.
all the people in the NIC, and all the nurses that are dealing with the NIC units around the country,
Mhm.
or the VA hospitals around the country. I mean, we have to
And the
definitely.
extra work that they have to do just to be supportive because their support system isn't there. I've seen a lot of nurses on Facebook, and that can be draining, emotionally draining for the frontline workers to have to put in the extra that they can't, that their families, patients' families can't provide.
Even on
So,
Absolutely.
even to your
No.
point, they are actually allowing patients to have their cell phones at all times, because when I went to the hospital, um, they were ready to do it at chest X-ray, and normally they say, "Okay, give me all." No, they say, "Oh no, you can stay on the phone." because they literally don't know if you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
That's your
Yeah.
only means of communication.
Hmm.
And I want to share a comment from Michael Laforgia in Mallorca, Spain, who says they want all vets, all old people, all Spanish, and all blacks to get sick. And it's happening everywhere in Italy, Spain, and the U.S. And it's making me sick that normal, everyday people who wear these stupid masks out of fear, not knowing that they're enhance themselves to get sick in the future. It just pisses me off. Peace out. And thank you, Michael, for sharing that. I mean, because and to Michael's point, everyone has a different thought process with this with COVID, which is why I feel that we have to really do things and be proactive with our counseling and therapy and healing now, and not just wait till this is quote unquote over to deal with, or else we're gonna, it'll be too overwhelming. It'll be like playing a game of Tetris because Michael, we've talked a lot where he feels that, and I've heard other people say this, regarding, is this manufactured? Is this who's this targeting? Is it affecting black folks? Is it affecting, our elderly? It's affecting, our veterans. There are certain people that this is affecting direct. I mean, for example, the west side of Chicago yesterday, people got upset with me when I said that we're on martial law. But on the west side of Chicago, I feel like we're in martial law. A lot of our our a lot of our exits yesterday were blocked off. Like strategically, certain areas of the west side were blocked off, and it wasn't easy to get into North Lawndale yesterday. Strategically, and that's like the third time that's happened in the last month. Which is strategic. Which is a form of pseudo martial law. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but I mean, and it's different depending upon where you live in every city and where you live in the world. So let's definitely reach out to our loved ones on this special day. If you have a veteran, if you don't know a veteran, just post something beautiful on your Facebook page or social media. If you do know a veteran, do something beautiful and amazing. Oh, let me ask you, Don Doty. I didn't. What's the status of the VA hospital right now? I mean, are veterans allowed to just go in
No,
there?
they're not. Not unless they have a emergency situation or they have a scheduled appointment that is of some high priority right now. So, and then when you go in, you got to be sanitized. You got to have a they check your forehead and make sure you don't have a fever before you're allowed to be in, and you got to wear a mask.
So how veterans normally would just go in there and kind of use it as a place of like shelter, like being in the lobbies or just kind of
No,
congregation.
no, they eliminated that. And I walked in there and the place was almost empty. I felt like, whoa. Usually that place is packed and busy. I mean, it was only thing I saw more security guards in there than I did people.
Wow.
Yeah, so no, you're not allowed in unless you have an appointment or it's an emergency and you're invited in for the emergency. In my case, mine was an emergency. My blood pressure ran low, and this thing about my kidneys acted up, and I had a dehydration problem.
And that's a huge deal if the veterans aren't allowed because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of veterans, especially our homeless vets, they'll go to the VA early in the morning and they'll stay there until they have to leave until they're put out by
Yeah,
security.
it's their
So
home,
it's their home. It's their day home. It's like
right?
it's called daycare really. And so now that's an issue itself. Aside from the veteran, I mean, because some veterans already don't like going to the VA, but now to have one more step in order to go there, if you truly are going there out of necessity, which that has to be hard in itself. So, Don, I want to thank you. Just thank you. Welcome home, and thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Don.
Hey, thank you.
Which branch did you serve in, Don?
I'm sorry, Marine. The one number one. I had to say it, but the Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps. Ooh-ah.
Oh yeah, we go in first.
You go in first. What year did you serve?
I did 63 to 65, and then I almost drowned in Vietnam. I was hospitalized there, and then I was released in 65 honorably, and uh, and then I've been involved with the veteran programs ever since.
Wow, and thank you for your service. Thank you for every branch that's out there in our military, all around the world. People that live in isolation because, or there's many people that every day their family members are serving in the military, and that's super duper hard to deal with. So I just want to thank everyone that's out there, and just today on this, while you're eating or while you're at home, send love to our vets because freedom is not free at all. It comes with the highest of cost, and it's because of people like Don and my grandfather and other people that allow us the luxury to be here and to have this freedom. So thank you all, and go to LaDonna Ray's page. LaDonna Ray is an amazing marketing expert, and I implore anyone. She helped me out a lot. She's been working with me for the last 5 years on my business. I don't a lot of this stuff I don't think of by myself. I think of it because I work with people that are amazing. That she's my consultant, so I would
Oh,
anyone that's out there, I would say hire her as your consultant. She's a great person to have on your team. She's one of the few people that I know that has been independent for the last 5 years. She's a single mom of four and running her own business, doing it, getting it in.
That's
So,
awesome,
dang.
LaDonna. You're
Dang,
doing
I got
much
a
more.
lot of
Yeah.
kids. A lot of
Excuse me.
kids. I never say I have four children. I say I have two and two because four sounds like a lot. Because I've got
it is a
adult
lot.
children. I know, but I got adult children. They were never in the house at the same time. So I got adult children and I got little children. So yeah, they push
Hey,
me.
hey, as my great grandmama Queen Clarice would say, you got them grown, and that's
Yeah. Yeah, love them. But
you got them.
people can call. They can call our offices. Can I give the phone number? Because
Yes, absolutely.
I
Yes.
like talking to people. So it's 312-763-9670. So they can always call and get some type of an introductory free consultation with me, and that way we can kind of see where this goes and make it mutually beneficial to to the both of us because I want to make sure that again, we can make it through the wake of COVID-19. COVID-19 ain't got nothing on us, okay?
Nothing.
And
Stay positive. We got to keep the positive energy. I think that'll knock everything out, or half of it. You stay
Uh-huh.
positive, keep that positive energy flowing, and we'll be all right.
and
Excuse me.
LaDonna,
Who is Torino?
that's me.
Soriano.
That's you?
Soriano.
Yes, sir.
I see a lady's picture. Oh, do you have a headscarf on your head?
Ah,
A rag?
that's me.
Okay. Okay. My bad. My bad. Okay. I'm a little confused there with the long hair and the wrap.
Oh, I love it. I'm that beautiful.
Okay. Go ahead.
So let I want to get a commitment right now of you guys coming back to my page into our podcast in July. I want to bring you all back.
Oh, definitely. You got my word on it.
All right. So Chanel
Because we,
Neal,
we gotta we gotta talk about these dogs that you're preparing for vets. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's important. You are training dogs and training them for just about everyone. I mean, you are the bomb.com. Let's not forget about that. I came to your facility that was 5,000 square feet. You had these dogs doing whatever you said. I think I saw some playing cards. Didn't you play? Didn't you train a group of dogs to play cards, Soriano?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yes, I
We,
thought I saw that.
we, we've been working with the dogs for
I
the last.
haven't seen that one. I have to check that out.
Yeah, no, and thank you for saying that too. I mean, because LaDonna helped me with my business 5 years ago when I did my audio book, and just inspired me to do that and to stay digital with all these different things. But yeah, dogs are going to be a major component because dogs have always been a major component in all crises. In 9/11, without dogs, we would not have had the opportunity to do search and rescue. When dogs for days upon days through rubble and all the toxic fumes that were coming up, searching for people when time was not on our side. And the same thing now, we're going to need tons of dogs to help with post-traumatic stress syndrome, to help with traumatic brain injury, the military sexual trauma. We need more dogs to help more military for sure. So please, please, please. I want to thank all my guests for tuning in. Thank you, Chanelli Nail, for producing this. Thanks for the whole Wolfkeeper crew that make these things happen, so I can sit here and talk to you all while we still are training dogs. To Tyrone, Master Dog Trainer Tyrone Scott, to our two junior trainers, Shaq and Denzel, to and to everyone that has always been in support of us. Thank you all. Thank you all. We're going to end our show on a high note and just and shout out to all the veterans. Happy Memorial Day. Salute to everyone. And go follow Donna Ray.
Thank you, Dr. Don Doty.
Thank you.
Thank all y'all. And peace. See you next week.
See you later.
LaDonna, I'll keep in touch with you.
Thank you, dear.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How do I hang up?